Hello, happy Wednesday. My name is Ali. I'm the owner of Goff Legal. We are an estate planning, probate, and trust administration firm in California. Because no one sees anyone in person anyways, it really doesn't matter where your lawyer is. We're in California. We can practice law all over California and can certainly help you wherever you are, as long as you live in California as well. So today I'm really excited to go over what your children, because chances are if you're watching this, you have children, you aren't someone who is 18, but in case you're 18 and heading off to college, this works for you. We're going over what documents your child or someone who is 18 needs when they're going off to college. So first is, but one, by the way, your kids are probably already off to college or they're coming back because a lot of colleges are now sending kids back to college, to home. Your kids are going to go off to college again. So maybe this is a good time to remind yourself, get your documents in order for your kiddos before they leave again. And if your kids have already gone, you can say to them, guess what? I watched this great informational video and you need to get some legal documents in place. First up, power of attorney for finance, sometimes also called a durable power of attorney. And it is a document that will allow you to make financial decisions if you need to for your kids if they're incapacitated or are unable to make those decisions themselves. If you wanted to help negotiate rent payments or deal with utility companies, pay tuition, those sorts of things, you're going to need authority to do that because they're 18 and legally they get to make all their own decisions. One of the ways you can sort of deal with this is you could open a separate small bank account. You have both kids on there, so if you need to give them money or deal with some sort of financial transactions, that might make your job a little easier. Second document, Advanced Healthcare Directive. This is sometimes called a living will or a healthcare proxy. In any case, it is a document that will allow you to make medical decisions for your kids. The second they turned 18, you lost all rights and privileges to make medical decisions and to receive medical information about them. So get this document. They can appoint you and then some backup people to make medical decisions for them. The complementary document, but also necessary to that, is the HIPAA waiver. That stands for Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act of 1996. Did you need to know that? No. What you need to know is this document will give you information about your kids, even if it doesn't give a real actual medical decision-making authority. So both are important. Third, a will. They need to say what happens to their stuff if something happens to them. Now, they probably don't have a lot of stuff, especially if you're paying for college, but this is still an important thing for them to think about. Who would get their bank accounts, who would get their car, those sorts of things. They can always, if they just have a bank account or a small other account, life insurance, whatever you've created for them, they can put beneficiaries on those accounts, and that will help govern where their stuff goes. A lot of times they'll actually leave money to their siblings or to cousins or nephews or nieces or whatever. So it's important to ask them, where would you want your stuff to go? And then have them write it down. Next is the FERPA waiver. I got to look this up today. FERPA stands for Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act. This is the thing that will allow you to get information about your kids' schooling, including their disciplinary actions or deal with all those sorts of things in the school. Now, even if your kid doesn't sign this, you sometimes still have rights to their information if they're under 23 and you are claiming them as a dependent on your tax return, blah, blah, blah. That's really irritating. It would be a lot easier if you had this waiver signed by your kids so you wouldn't have to go through those hoops and prove that you have all the requirements to get information about your kids' education. Now, not really a legal document, but something that's really important to look at before your kids head off or while they're gone is their insurance. Check out their health insurance, make sure they're covered, make sure they know and you know what is included in their plan. Look at their automobile insurance. What if they let their roommate drive their car? Are you covered? Because chances are it's still your car and you're paying the insurance, so you know how this works. Property and homeowners insurance. Confirm that the stuff that they take with them to college is covered under your homeowner's policy. And if it's not, consider getting them a renter's policy because they're carrying around really expensive things like laptops and computers. And you want to make sure those are covered if something happens to those items. Here's a tip for you. If they're in another state, you might need them to get documents in that state instead of California or get both. Each state has their own set of laws. Isn't that fun? You want to make sure that you're going to have authority over whatever entity you're dealing with. If they're saying Florida, you want to make sure that you have a Florida document so that you can deal with the Florida entities. So those are the documents we went over. We went over the Power of Attorney for Finance, Healthcare Directive, HIPAA release, FERPA waiver, will, and then insurance. That's like a bonus thing. And then we went over the tip of how to make sure your documents work. So if you have questions, feel free to message us. Don't send sensitive information. Facebook is not a private place. Please email us, info@Goff Legal, or you can call us, 916-625-6556. We're more than happy to help. And if you wouldn't mind, please sharing this with your friends and your network so that we can get the message to as many people as we can so that they feel comfortable when their kids are off to college. All right. Nice to see you all. Thanks for tuning in. Bye-bye.